Hello, everybody. It's Laura Eisenhower. I'm joined today by my two really good friends, Jemaa Sonciré and Seth Leaf Pruzansky. And we just want to talk about the eclipse season and its, impact on all of us and just what the energies have been, the astrology, just what you guys have been experiencing. Do you guys hear that feedback?
I
It's kind of,
do.
what is
I
that?
hear a feedback.
You
Don't.
know what? It might be on my end.
Almost like water damage.
Yeah.
It's like, ding, ding, ding.
Wah, wah, wah.
You know what? If we had, wait,
We're an
I'm gonna put,
Charlie Brown episode.
well, it's gonna call my phone, but for some reason,
It
okay.
actually,
Hi, everybody. It's Laura
Mhm.
Eisenhower. I'm joined today with my two really good friends, Jemaa Sonciré. We do the Cosmic Gaia subscription thing. I don't want to call it a subscription. It's more like a community, right?
because
That's not a good start. See,
I know Seth.
hi, everybody. It's Laura Eisenhower. I am joined today by my good friends, Jemaa Sonciré and Seth Leaf Pruzansky. We are coming together to give a cosmic forecast. What's currently going on with these energies, right? We have an eclipse coming up. The nodal axis is North Node Pisces, South Node Virgo. It's Virgo season. The sun's in Virgo. Lots of interesting planetary alignments. So yeah, just want to have a conversation with you guys and great to see you.
Yay!
Yeah,
I'm excited. This is, yeah, really fun.
me as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, so what have you guys been experiencing? I mean, I'm so in the Virgo. It's like it's so Virgo, unbelievable.
hmm
Everything right now is just about health, and just getting things organized and taking care of things and it's so interesting because the South Node represents something foundational. Um, South Node is, you know, closures, letting go of attachments, reflecting upon things from the past. And then the North Node is leaping into the unknown and moving forward and just kind of moving into, a direction. But
hmm
it's an integration process, right? Where the South Node and the North Node, really, connect.
hmm
So this whole kind of organization, Virgo, health, pets, routine, work, our
hmm
physiology, how the mind talks to the body, all things Virgo, is moving into that Neptune Pisces dream, and emotion, right? Uh, so in that integration process, a lot of stuff comes up. So have you guys noticed when you're cleaning and organizing that I mean, it's like objects hold memory and or if you move or you're organizing your stuff, it's like, you can kind of see, you can sort of see like, am I living a dream? In your physical world, Virgo with the Pisces opposite Neptune, what are our thoughts telling our body? Is it based in a programming or are we living the dream, right? So,
Yeah.
and I think when people are deconstructing uh themselves from the matrix programs, they begin to realize yeah, that this integration process just pushes
It's
up us up against obstacles and blockages that uh are to be released. And so what's been going on in your guys' world in terms of all this? Seth, do you want to start? Or
sure, of course.
Yeah, Seth, go for
Unless
it.
Jermaine wants to, either way.
No, you go for it, Seth. Yeah.
So, you know what? And Laura knows about this, but one of my closest friends who I've known for 35 years, and he was like really successful, owned this great store for almost 30 years, and just like a really down to earth, good friend, a dear brother. And about a year, it was a while ago now. Yeah, year and a half, he just started having this like dark night of the ego kind of thing going, and he like broke down. Long story short, he was hospitalized 6 times,
Whoa.
and they knew he was not stable enough to be out, but they just they let him go, and seeing how broken system is, and being through that, and then just being like, what is solid? Nothing. It's all crumbling, it's falling apart.
Mm-hmm.
But personally, it's really weird because when you know someone that long and that good, and then they're just not there for, you know, 10, 11 months, you just like hardly even like knows who I am. It's like that level of dementia and like me coming to terms with, he's got no one else. He's like, I'm it. I'm the only one he has. And so coming to terms with
Friend
like, all
doesn't
right, I'm
know.
gonna,
Is this
hmm?
the one that you said was rebuilding himself and everything, and he's
Well,
becoming,
yeah. So that's,
but he
yeah, I know.
doesn't remember who you are?
That's what I mean. It was so for so long. Yeah, it was like dementia. It was like just, and to know somebody that well and that long and to watch them. But you want to talk about like the ego death. Like,
Yeah.
come on. He didn't even know who anybody was or anything. And then a few weeks ago, I'd already been prepared. I'm like, I'm going to have to take care of him, for indefinite amounts of time. And again, he can't like talk to anybody, even me. He's like struggling. And then a couple of weeks ago, he just started to get better. And it was like, is this
Amazing.
really happening?
That's awesome.
So
And well,
yeah.
that's because that's Virgo season, like what Laura was just talking about. So it's like this
Yeah.
whole like lead up to right now.
Crazy.
And
Yep.
Yeah.
so he started to get his memories back?
Yeah. All of it. But you know what? So it's funny, not necessarily his memories, but he's coming back. He's like become present. And at the same time, the person who he was,
Yeah.
because he was going through a lot of depression and stuff for 7, 8 years that went up to this psychotic break that he had and
Mhm.
then just kept being hospitalized.
Mhm.
But it's like that old person's gone. He's
Yeah.
coming back.
Ah,
And it's like blank slate, this total unbelievable chance to recreate himself. It's amazing to watch,
Haha.
especially after Laura, this was happening a long time ago, and it just like, is he gonna live? Like, you never know what's gonna happen because there's like symptoms every which way, and there's no way of making sense of it. As soon as like you think, okay, well, it's gonna be like this, and he's gonna do that, does something else, including like just falling down and hurting himself every time he tries to stand up. And nobody can say what it is that's causing that. And so I mean, it's so complex, like, and so I made a choice. I'm like, okay, well, if the tables were turned, he would take care of me, because it's like taking care of someone who's elderly and he's not elderly. So for him to come back around all of that, it's like, holy moly. It's like, okay, we all have light and dark, right? We all have angels and devils, whatever, the polarity. We all have polarity. And he should have been dead. I mean, if I could go, I could talk this whole episode about it, but it's like it's hard to even comprehend how he lived through so many of these things. Like anybody else would be dead.
Well,
So it's like
your path is incredible. Your book and just everything that you've gone through. I
it's
mean, it's just like what the human soul can
yeah.
endure is amazing. Oh man. So Jermaine, what are your
Too.
thoughts?
Yeah, well, that's so amazing because I feel like so that is it. Like our oversoul and our higher self actually is in charge. And we came in knowing we were going to go through like major shifts, dark night of the souls, like crazy feats. And then, but we're doing it purposely so we can shift the energies in the false inverted matrix. So he really like transmuted and cleared and raised his frequency to match the new, timeline that we're all, or original timeline that we're all going on. And you said like a year and a half ago, and I feel like that's when we all started really going through like some shit, like some like
Was that, remember that big eclipse? I'm clueless about the dates of it, but there's a
okay,
huge eclipse during the day here When
like
was,
a
I
year
don't
ago,
know.
like a year and a half ago. Yeah, no, it was like this major, like, yeah, that was really intense.
That's when it started.
Okay.
Literally
Yeah,
started
no,
then.
that one was an intense one. It feels, yeah, because I remember feeling like a portal got opened and like, because the darkness is trying to keep us stuck. They don't want us to shift and clear and transmute them because they actually have an expiration date. And so they're doing everything they can because we're learning about our own energy fields and keeping them solid so none of that can happen, the dark night of the soul, because those are actually just attacks and
Yeah.
those are weakening of our energy field so other energy, lower vibrational energies can get in either through traumas or belief systems,
But,
that aren't
Yeah.
highest.
but we
Yeah,
want to go through all that too, though.
we do. Yeah,
Yeah.
no, we do. So we come out stronger and more solid with what we're holding for the highest. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, no, they don't want us to lose the dependency. They
That's
want
it.
us to be dependent on them.
Yeah.
Um,
And
and
keep
that's the thing. Once we claim sovereignty, they can't make money off of us because
Yeah.
everything is about if you have anxiety, if you have depression, if you're angry, if you have ego issues and you need to prove yourself in the world and you need to get that paycheck. If everything. This is why I do presentations about the weaponization of the zodiac because if you look at all
Mm.
the houses of the zodiac and all the signs, their inverted characteristics actually is what society is pushing on us. Because the higher octave of a lot of these planetary signs and planets and energies are actually um, like a lot higher. So Virgo in its shadow would be unwellness, disease, sickness,
Mm.
um, disorganization, bad hygiene, just getting caught up in just all the even debt, just having to deal with the everyday chores and then the other layer is being connected with nature, being connected with earth, being connected with animals, right? And then the other level is being the healer, purification, Virgo, higher octave, Virgo, um, just the way the mind talks to the body, like the purification, um, the opposite, Neptune, Pisces, its shadow, self-undoing, addiction, um, getting lost in like the multidimensional landscape of it all. And its shadow, it's empathic overload, being so sensitive to your environment, feeling everything, not being able to handle all that you feel. So that polarity of all of that and how that communicates to us and how we live our life is just so interesting. So on the highest level it would be, with Neptune, the creative imagination in our dreams, instead of illusions or self-undoing or addictions because of the empathic overload, it's what are you envisioning? What is your dream? And bringing it into reality. So in your physical space, you are moving that Virgo energy into I'm connected to nature, manifesting heaven on earth, feeling at oneness with the environment around you, putting good things into your body, nutrition, self-love and self-care, positive thoughts. Mercury rules Virgo. How does the mind talk to the body? When it's programmed, though, it's feeding the body things that cause it to become diseased or just afflicted or just in a state of despair. And so this is the kind of eclipse energies we're dealing with. So it's interesting to look at those properties. How are we experiencing it? Are we in the shadow, in the inverted sort of places, or are we in the highest level? And I'm not saying society is like asking us to be in the lowest because we see, people are living great lives and people are healthy and there's a lot of the positive aspects of it. But the medical industry and a lot of the institutions prey upon people not fully understanding the deep soul work that is necessary to connect
Right. And a
the
correct way.
unconscious, because Neptune's also the unconscious, like what's going on in this bigger field, so that when you function in life, it's like you're not grabbing at an addiction, you're grabbing something that's healthy for you, it's that mind body spirit communication, and it's the restoration of the tree of life. That's the axis of the Virgo uh Pisces to me.
Mm, yeah.
Totally. That's exactly. Yeah. And that's getting shifted. So we're changing that with the dark night of the souls. We're shifting all of that away from the medical, away from how it's been in a twisted, perverted way. Yeah. And yeah, like you were saying too, we were talking earlier. So like this is a good time to um just reorganize and really clean too, like you said, like feng shui earlier, Laura, and on another conversation. But it's like really keeping your space clear right now and clean, because there are energies that can stay stuck on physical things, old, things that you don't even realize that are in your house. So right now it's a good time to take note of everything that's in your space, really clean out the dust, the cobwebs, get rid of stuff that isn't serving, because there is energy on that too that could be creating stagnation or just a lower feeling in the body, because it is Virgo. So it's like, oh, it's all about the health. So
Yeah,
thank,
and internally, right? Like
yes.
it's
Yep.
because if we're not in tune with what we are, then it starts to reflect externally.
Yeah.
And
That's
but a lot of people like they get overwhelmed. They're like, oh, well, but it builds up. If you don't like take care of yourself, if you don't exercise hygiene, mental, emotional, spiritual, all of it, then now with all the intensity of everything building up, including our species, which it seems like we're having a forced awakening, but it's
mm,
not forced, obviously. There's a bunch that are ready and it's happening, but like major change is here. It's at the door. It's been at the door, but now people are beginning to like look in and see, and then shut it really quick if they can't deal with it. But yeah, wild, very, very
that
wild.
is that inner, yeah. That's why I was tuning in earlier just for this, and yeah, it's like this is a great time to like organize. Yeah, and this is what I wrote down: clear both physical and emotional. Like how do we clear out the emotional? How do we clear out to become clear and be connected to our higher self and oversoul? And so everything reflects alignment and flow. And what came was that there's so much static in the quantum space, like all the technology that we have, the platforms, Instagram, everyone has a channel. So not only is it in our physical watching, but that's going out into the field, into the collective. So we have to take a break, like from the electronics. I put out practice tech detoxes, technical technology, so you can really get clear in your own space. So that should become a practice, a forever practice, because technology is not going to go away, but there's not so much static, which can create confusion or feeling body stagnation, especially in this Virgo season right now.
Mm.
Yeah.
Right, when
So
everything's supposed to be more organized, right? Or supported to be more organized. The
right.
burnout.
Yep. Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah.
I want to ask a question just totally out in left field to both of you. Do you know, like, when there's big eclipse and you're outside during the day and, the moon and the sun get in front of each other, some people, like, they wear glasses when they look at it, but my friend didn't. He just stared right at it. We're talking at the beginning. He literally just stared the whole time. I mean, I didn't, I'd look and check it out, but he just, like, totally stared. And
That
that is literally where all these issues kicked off, and just going through this hardcore like transformation, ego death times 20. So Anyway, do you know about that? Have you guys heard about that? Is it true? Like you look up at something like that and lights you up from the inside out and
Right? Or if you should look at it or wear glasses.
yeah, because that's, I was telling you, my friend has like gone through all this stuff, but that's when it started. He was just staring at the eclipse. And I
Interesting.
went for a bike ride. I came back right, it was starting to get like it was cool. It was like this violet kind of neat color, and the air was like statically charged with something. Like it was good air to breathe, it felt like. But yeah, he just stared.
Uh,
And then other people like, well, if you stare at it, whatever cultures, ancient cultures, since who knows,
yeah.
there's different rituals and belief systems when it comes to
Ah,
eclipse.
like
But
sun gazing, stare like so
yeah,
whenever we've been told we can do the opposite. So I say,
uh,
yes, stare at the eclipse. No, I'm just kidding. There should be a disclosure. I don't, but
yeah,
they've told us not to and wear glasses. And so
that's it.
there's some
Do
kind of
it.
activation.
Yeah.
And his activation was positive, even though didn't feel like it in the moment. But now he literally is a whole new advanced version of himself the highest way. So because I'm clearly seeing that he had to let go of like addictions and material world, like to like really just bear like totally in the matrix, even though it looked good to everybody, but it was like it was a program he was running, and he got out. Neo got him out. Seth, I mean.
Uh,
Neo, Seth, I
Yeah,
can't
no,
hardly
Seth.
remember the names of those people.
yeah.
No, I said Neo, in the Matrix, the movie.
Neo, yeah.
Yeah, I'm calling you Neo.
It's,
I remembered your name.
it's
It's
what
all
I
good.
felt like. It's a lot. It's like
Yeah,
you're trying to manage all this stuff that's way bigger than you, but at the same time, you're a part of it, you know?
yeah,
And there's no escape. And
yeah,
that's what people do. They try to hide from it, Like, no, don't, it's not happening. It's not real. But again, as a species, here we
yeah.
are. Change is here.
It is expansion, and it's right. It's consciousness out of what we've been programmed, like Laura, you said earlier. Yeah, so it's this program. We're we're deleting the negative programming. We're
Totally. Yeah. So
Indoctrination.
yeah. September 7th, the total lunar eclipse in Pisces. It's gonna be
Mm,
like lunar eclipses, this Pisces energy, dissolving illusions, surrendering to divine flow, and healing spiritual disconnection. People who have been feeling very disconnected from source. Uh it's when you feel disconnected from source, you look to something else to provide that kind of source nourishment, right? And that's why the Piscean energy is connected to addiction. So a lot of the collective energy is probably going to be working on avoiding like escapism, and ways to avoid reality. And uh, the most important thing, when you're in that shadow side of it all,
Mhm.
and you may feel like you're lacking boundaries, you're feeling overwhelmed, and you want to go into that escapism mode, is to yeah, I mean, are you in a martyrdom or a victim role? Or I mean, is like, how are you letting life like treat you?
mm,
And can you turn it around and turn it into a recognition of um faith, forgiveness, compassion, and just unconditional love? Because that's very much the Neptune, right? So you got to flip it around, right? And same with our, health. So, partial solar eclipse, when it hits Virgo and it comes to more about our physical body.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. That's kind of what I wrote down too. I said, look at things in a new way in this season, like and leading up to the eclipse. Exactly that, Laura. Examine what's not working on such a in a microscopic, like really look at what's not working with compassion and create new ways. So that, yeah, create new ways, open new doors and pathways that align with your true self and higher timeline. So,
And you can't make yourself like be compassionate, right? It's something that is going to move through you. But in that moment, are you negating that emotion? And because this is the thing with empaths or really sensitive people. It's like when that moment happens, what do? Do you allow yourself to cry? Do you allow yourself to feel? Do you allow yourself to lay down next to that animal or that or see that person that is being harmed and you just want to help them? Or you're taking on somebody else's pain? Or are you looping in moments in your life where you've been victimized and or you're triggered and that kind of thing? You know, it's
totally. And that's what it is. That's what it's looking at it at such a fine, like with a, like you're looking at yourself under a microscope. How did you just react to that? Like, are you feeling triggered? And that's like, go deeper then. Or, yeah, are you rolling around with your animals on the floor and feeling that love? Yeah, that's a good analogy. But yeah, this feels like a time though, with everything that we just talked about, there is clarity behind it. There is like the higher self is communicating with people. So that's why this time, like it will come through clearly if you really look at it. You will hear, like, unlike other, like in this last year and a half, it was really hard to hear our higher self, to connect. But with these energies right now, it feels like it's like it's right there for us to see. So we just have to really look at it. Is what I was getting shown. Yeah. Yeah, it's really, yeah. Powerful time.
yeah, it's like give yourself permission to dream and to just rest and to connect and to feel. And when it gets like really yeah, in the dark, shadowy aspects of it all, you know, you don't want to push it back into the unconscious because that's the Virgo polarity. It ends up getting stored in the body, which becomes pain or disease. And that's why this eclipse season is powerful because you'll swing from the emotion of, you know, September 7th with the total lunar eclipse with the Piscean energy to the partial solar eclipse, Virgo, September 21st, where it's more grounded, where you'll, you know, during the season find yourself swinging between the emotional processing of your life. And if you can grant yourself the space that you deserve instead of shoving it down or masking it or grabbing, you know, something with the addiction, because that's also a shadow of Neptune. If you allow yourself to just feel into it all, you'll access your dreams and your visions and also the transference of energy, you know, that comes from that empathy and that love and that compassion. Instead of being victimized or in a trigger response or an addiction response. So we got to allow ourselves to feel because you got to feel it to heal it. And then, so as we move into the Virgo, September 21st, partial solar eclipse, and it's more about the new moon, Virgo energy. It's about the planting of seeds and organizing our minds to be able to fully embrace the visions that we hold, to talk constantly to ourselves what we want to manifest, what we know the truth of ourselves, you know, the self talk we have, the conversations we have with our body, that's unconscious, is very much about this. And if you want to change the conversation, it's a good time to feel into where you bump up against a conversation that might not be going so great, and change it, because you're the script writer, right, of your reality. And this is why the Neptune dreams and Virgo physical work, routine, habits, the way we function in life. You can live your dream when you clear out all the crap that is compromising your ability to step into the fullness of all you can be, you know? I don't know if I
100.
said that
I want
very
to say a couple. Oh, go ahead, Jimmy. Sorry.
Oh, no, go ahead. No, I was just
All
agreeing.
right. I want to say two things, if that's okay. The first one, Laura, it looks so cool because she has her glasses on her head
Yeah.
and there's like a beam of light or something right above her. It's creating this super cool, like, right? And then what is it? Thunderbirds or some
Yeah.
crows or ravens? I can't hear you, Laura.
Yeah. I I don't know if I
It looks awesome though. Like it
Yeah.
really does. Like, all right. So, but anyway, I wanted to say so, and I don't know, Jermaine doesn't know, but I do guided meditations often, and the thing that's been coming up lately by a lot of people is the genocide that's happening, and tons of people who are like, how do you think we can elevate our self-awareness to, be these healthy beings when there's such evil and massacre and all that happening? And they're really, really beaten up about it. Of course they are. Of course we are.
Right.
But, like, what do you guys, because the way I see it is like, who are we not to be in those elevated states? Because this is a dark, painful world. I mean, doesn't it need more love? Like, doesn't it need us being our best to help? Because otherwise, we let that stuff beat us up. How are we going to help them? How are we going to help anything? So I was wondering, how that fits in to the forecast, that Laura or Jemay, either way.
go ahead, Jimmy.
Well, so
Thanks.
so I know it's painful because of our souls that came here to transmute and bring the light and love. And it's a fine line with the energies. So that is part of the inverted false matrix timeline where we're getting trapped into the looping, into pulling on um our sads, our compassion, but it's out of balance because now we've, as empaths, now linked with that timeline of destruction, of genocide, so that's why it's so important to do the inner work of raising the frequency so we get out of that. And it's still okay to send, like we can't do anything physical. We're not going to go to those other countries, most of us. So energy travels, our consciousness travels to raise the frequency of what is going on in that realm for those souls that are on the front lines. Those souls are like on the front lines of darkness. And so we can just consciously hold the support for them because it does work. And we just send love without being in that timeline.
Exactly. Yep.
So,
And that's the Neptune also is just, this the prayer, the I mean it's very much about the sacred space that one holds. It's about the collective consciousness. Neptune connects to the collective consciousness. And and it's that dream space. And it's just where all possibility is when you think of the imagination. I mean, Neptune is very much the imagination. Um and so just an intention, just how you direct your thoughts, your intention, your prayer, your without getting caught up in it to the point where it's just such a huge field of energy, the Neptune
mhm.
realm. And well,
And it's a false timeline. it's a false creation, and they get us by dragging us in there on our compassion and on our, feeling for the other souls. And so that's why we have to have the the awareness, so we can send the love in that, like Laura just said, and hold that space. So if we all just pray, meditate every day together, like you're holding, like I pray every day for Mother Earth, for anybody that's going through any of these, the inverted, dark, evil fucking bullshit, you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah. I mean, Neptune's got many layers, right? It's like archons, entities, shadow beings, then angelic, out of the astral. I mean, the astral is a mixed bag. We sleep at night, we dream at night, right? Sometimes we have nightmares. Sometimes we
Mhm.
go in like out into the ethers, and uh the level of consciousness that we can reach is vast. And yes, the targeting, the dark weaponry is to infect the creative channel so that we form belief systems and imagine things that are going to happen, that the mind then speaks to the body and then creates for the deep state. So we actually go down an artificial timeline that they wrote for us because we consented to it, because we bought into it from the programming. So that's this dismantling process that we're going through when we hit up against those emotions and those moments, that you want to just cry or just like tear it down or just be like, that doesn't make sense. Or, and you get in that shadow stuff. That shadow stuff is where it's at. But it's a very vulnerable time, like you were saying in the beginning of the show, where attacks can come in and you're very vulnerable. So, you want to shield yourself when you're going through that dark night of the soul, or you're going through that big emotional clearing, because that's usually when you're most vulnerable to, here's a quick fix. This will make you feel better, or this is what you should believe and be afraid. And this is how it's like seal yourself off, ground, and just be in this luminous divine presence and embodiment that you actually are. Because Neptune rounded with the Virgo is just like, I just see the Bodhi, like the Buddha sitting in the tree, the tree of life. It's the tree of life template. The mind and the body and the spirit are all talking to each other, a beautiful conversation, and it's writing the script of the future, not the one that they're throwing at us. And the amount of dismantling that we're doing, ancestrally, and with all that we're thrown, constantly from the news, it's just like Neptune definitely needs a bunch of guardians and bouncers, like it's a temple, it's a sacred space. And that Virgo energy, is your physiology and the epigenetics. How does the mind speak to your DNA? What are you activating?
Love it. Yes. Amen.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I'm not religious. Amen is, yeah. But yeah, you know what I mean. That's beautiful. And yep, Laura, and yeah, good question, Seth. What's your take?
As far as how people, their feedback, like being negative and how I
Question.
process it.
Yeah, the question that you asked, like, do you have your, or you were just
Yeah.
asking?
I just, again, it's like if we are privileged enough to not be in places where there's no privilege, then it feels like, isn't it our responsibility to exercise being the best version of ourselves and
Mhm.
then working with others from that place? Because obviously most people who are, the masses who are just like stuck in all the programming and they don't see it all. They just totally believe it because it's all they've ever been exposed to. So the idea of a bunch of people being in like fully coherent states working together to
Mhm.
shift energy, no matter where in the world, not even in this star system, could be anywhere. But most people have no idea
Right.
what that is or if it works. But again, that's the thing. It's like when you realize that you and me and we are all a part of everything, everything.
Mhm.
And even right now, right? Here we are, three of us having this conversation. This is everything that we think we know about ourselves, our whole waking conscious life is 0.01 or less of what we're conscious of. The other 99.9% of life we're unconscious of, but it's still there. It's still in us. Like it's still happening. Like how long do we stay completely unconscious before we're like, wait a minute, okay, war all over, destroying the planet, all like just you know what? Drawing a line in the sand, waking up. I'm gonna just be who I know I have the potential to be because that is breaking out of prison. That is a jailbreak. That is breaking out of your emotional wounds and trauma and all the stuff that we experience. But also, you guys, I think Laura said about dreams. We spend what, like maybe a third or more of our life sleeping, and yet still there's hardly any real knowing of what dreams are. Everybody does it. It's a totally routine, normal part of our lives, but can't study it because it's so subjective. And the same thing with consciousness, right? Like we know we're here, we're in these bodies, we're having this experience by ourselves together, but science, you call it that, has no idea what consciousness is. So it's like the biggest, most important things of our lives individually and personally. Like, do we need to search out all over the world when the biggest mysteries are already in us, happening to us? Like, kind of break, that ability to not have common sense because it's our birthright. We came into these bodies to know ourselves as we are fully, but like the masses, oh, we'll just stay in our little 0.01%. Meanwhile, 99.9 or whatever numbers, that's conservative estimate compared to others. But like, come on. The mystery, the why we're so messed up as a species, because there's so many so out of touch with the natural world because they're out of touch with their own inner nature. So I think the
Yeah.
best we can do is encourage each other, right? Like even people who are just like, the more we do this, whether it's by our words,
Mhm.
there's an ability to be in tune with ourselves in this world, just like the planets are. They need each other. They have that connection. All of reality seems to be like that. There's natural cycles in everything, nature, the galaxies, like it's all in a spiral, moving, living being. And that's the predominant force.
Mm.
Like here we're backwards.
Well, that just is a like that's why it's so important for us to do that inner work to reflect the outer and really be aware of the magic here. Yeah. And yeah, and appreciate, like you said, being just not born in a place that's very, traumatic. And just so when we do that, we raise the frequency also when we're in like gratitude and just really aware of the positive and the magic. And I always recommend this movie so it shows you yeah, they can't science, they don't know what consciousness is and all that, but when we do come together, we can make huge shifts, like actually changing the weather,
Yeah.
and bringing peace to like prisons, like the study of the Ho'oponopono, changing the energy, the frequency in that. I don't know if you guys are familiar with that, but just in your whole beautiful story. So it really is about shifting, I guess, perspective of all of that. And yeah, and nature. And that's why it was important to because of the collective is really there's so much information now. And so it can get real staticky in our own energy field. But I remember reading a long time ago, because when I first started getting into like energy and like, whoa, we do have an energy field, and through thoughts and the energy field, we can heal our bodies. And so I remember science actually has known this for a long time, that our thoughts do affect our energy field, which then do affect our body. I can't find that study though. That was like 20 years ago. But they've known that consciousness is everything of what we're creating. And that's why we've been tricked to stay in the false timeline, or the negative looping.
Yeah.
There's a movie, and I tried to make Laura watch it, and our friend, it's a little cheesy acting, but it's the Celestine Prophecy.
Oh
um,
yeah.
the book
Way
that
back that came out, right?
yeah, well, it was written in the 70s, and it was
Yeah, I read
made.
that book a long, long time ago.
It's so good. Yeah, and the movie was made in the 90s, but it really, like, cheesy acting, but they really portrayed it really beautifully on consciousness with Mother Nature and raising the frequency out of the negative war,
Yeah.
bad guys.
Well,
And
just
it
like,
just,
yeah,
yeah.
totally. Like power versus force, though. It's like there's a spectrum of frequency, and there's, sound frequency too, that
Mm.
keeps people in a certain, state, a vibrational state. And the whole process of awakening, I feel, is it's like we're tuning forks, and we are an override frequency to 5G and all the frequency distortions and all the dark weaponry and reversal grid technology. We literally collapse it when we reach beyond those levels of social engineering, indoctrination. The geoengineering we see, we're being bioengineered. But when we break down the mind control and the social engineering, we collapse those dark weapons, and we begin to see, you know, Mother Earth purified as well from all of that, because we are interconnected. We purify our internucleic acids, our DNA, which is elemental. That's why we can shift weather. And that's why, when we see geoengineering, it's the same thing with seeing a mind control population. They can control humanity, they're controlling the weather, but it's all connected. If you have an awakened humanity, you're not going to
Mhm.
have a controlled atmosphere. And that's the higher earth energies that we're moving into when we begin to collapse all the different tactics that are weaponizing. Like Neptune also rules hospitals and prisons, right? But also ashrams and sacred sites and solitude, and you know, so we're going to turn, hospitals into healing centers, and prisons into rehabilitation and understanding of, PTSD and trauma-based mind control and ancestral lineage and bloodlines, and getting to the deeper nitty-gritty of how these individuals became what they are. Because if you can take a perfectly benevolent being and turn them into an assassin, you can take, you know, imagine what we can do to turn all that back into a divine human. And I'm not saying tinkering or manipulating, but literally helping restore that divine blueprint again. And it's very much in from our consciousness. Yes, med beds and other things are going to be there, but we are the aliens on Earth. We are the ETs. We have that in our genetics. We are star seeds. We are from the guardians. We are source beings that are here, that came to this planet. I don't like the word aliens as much, but that are remembering and switching this back on in order to yeah, correct the inversions. And literally every awakened person, you impact the field around you, the people around you, more than you realize. And that is a purpose we all share. This whole hierarchical government's going to collapse, because what's going to happen is the people are going to rise, communities are going to come together, and we're going to realize that every single one of us has a unique and divine purpose and mission. And that's to be, you're the best version of yourself.
Awesome.
And to
Yeah.
integrate the shadow, right? Like, look, I brought my shadow to this talk. Like,
Yeah. And all that shadow stuff is just, when we go into the underworlds, we're reclaiming the mother womb. We're reclaiming the creative cauldron of creation. It's become hell because we've avoided it, or we get thrown into it, but we don't realize that it has a lot of clearing to do. you know, so we might go into underworlds that are beyond our own, that are global, or we might go into ones that are just having to do with our ancestry or our own soul journey that we have to clear. It depends on the person. But the shadow work is you find the treasures that want to be reclaimed and released and embodied, but you also run into the things that you were saying earlier, Seth and Jemaa, where the unconscious parts of us, the autopilot. When you go into the dark night of the soul, you begin to look at, wait, why did I do that? Why did I say that? Why did I act this way? When you catch yourself and you go into that unconscious space to see the root of that programming or that trauma that has caused this certain behavior, you know? And that's the therapy of you know, Pluto's the therapist, Neptune creative, yeah. It's just fascinating. So I hope we have more discussions, you guys. I got to jump back something else, but I mean, I'm sure we're gonna come together and just talk
I
about
love it.
the
I'll
energies.
do it with you guys anytime.
Yeah,
Sweet. So
cool. Yeah, do another one for the eclipse.
yeah, well,
Yeah,
we talked about the eclipse.
we talked about
But yeah,
yeah.
closer to the eclipse time when we're feeling it even more than we already are.
We'll find out if we can gaze at that eclipse. So maybe we'll, yeah.
Yeah, no, that's a good question.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I know that you can do the sun gazing, you know, in the
Oh
morning.
yeah, and I've done that.
Me too. Yeah, I've done
Clear,
that.
good
Yep.
eyesight.
And same with the infrared. You know, they give you the glasses and everything, but I've heard that you actually can stare at like at your infrared. And I don't suggest people do this, but I do. You know, my infrared light, it's actually healthy for the eyes. So,
Yeah.
but disclaimer, I'm not telling anybody to do that. Do your research, but you know, we've been lied to.
Right. And we're correcting the inversions, and that's what it's all about. But
Yeah.
gotta just really feel into does muscle testing, discernment, and just really feeling into, you know, does it feel right for you? Pushing all this too fast, just like awakening and red pilling, where earth, air, fire, water, ether, emotional, mental, physical, spiritual, fire. Yeah, just be easy on ourselves, and we're here to just be a part of this greater conversation and support all of you. And
Yes, yeah. So be
and
gentle on yourselves out there.
yeah,
And we support you on your journey.
yeah,
Yeah.
we're in it too, and
We're
we're
in
all
it.
and it's looking beautiful because I mean the greatest part of this awakening process is we're writing the script of the future, and nobody else is doing that for us. So, you know,
Yep. I love it.
allow that integration of the Neptune, the dream, to be actualized in your physical vessel so that you manifest it through your physical actions, through your lifestyle, through the way you interact with the world around you, how you digest, how you feed yourself. Is it nourishing, you know? And if it's not, put up those boundaries.
That's right. Yep. Exactly.
Well, we'll give you all the information about how to connect with Seth and what Jemaa and I do. And any final words, you guys?
Thank you for inviting me, both of you. Yeah. I
This was
have a good
amazing.
time.
Yeah. I love this. Because it helps me too. Like when I hear your, you know, others, you know, experiences. So we are all in this together, you know.
Oh yeah.
Truly are.
Went through all the energies just as much as everyone. So, but we are here to support you and hold, you know, that beautiful space and love um, for each of us to go through on our inner journey. Yeah.
Love you
Yeah.
guys.
I love you. Love
Love
you
you
guys.
too.
Love to everybody out there too.
Yeah.
Bye.
Okay.